you have to be the one to put your business out there.
Yeah.
No one is going to do it for you. And you can hope that your friends share your stuff and your family tells people or whatever it is. But like to me, I'm like, I have to post like 10 times a day and annoy everyone and make sure that everybody doesn't forget we're here. And that's the biggest thing because, you know, we're in charge of that now. No one is going to, it's not up to the shop owner anymore we are the shop owner now. So
we have Dee and Cheyenne, owners of Off the Wall Barbershop.
Yes.
Off the Wall Barbershop here in Midland, Texas. Barbering is, I feel like it's such a hot topic these days, especially with the younger generation. So we wanted to get these two budding entrepreneurs and barbershop owners in today to talk. And so if you're into interviews with entrepreneurs and business owners and barbers now, then you're in luck. So stick around. Dee and Cheyenne, great to have you in today.
Thank you for having us.
Let's just jump right in. So can you kind of introduce yourselves and sort of give us a little bit of your history in being a barber?
Okay, so I've been doing hair for 10 years, men's hair, and we always booth rented and worked for other people, and 7 months ago we decided to go on our own and do our own thing. So,
How about you, Cheyenne?
We actually went to school together, so we've been cutting the hair literally the same amount of time, and it just made sense because we've always been together, except I think yesterday we decided for 3 years out of our 10 years, we've always been beside each other.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
What prompted you to want to become barbers in the first place?
For me, I just never worked on women's hair, even in school. I kind of got assigned to only men's haircuts. So when I got out of school, I was like, well, I guess I'm doing men's hair. And I just never, I've never done women's hair, not even for one day.
Not one cut?
Not one. Well, I've done a cut in school, but
okay, gotcha.
I've never worked in women's hair, only men's.
Like not even for like a friend?
My sister, maybe, but no, I just never touched it.
Those family
so I don't
cuts.
do it. Yeah.
That discount.
That's
Is
it.
that what you did as well? Just right out of high school?
No, not like straight out of high school. I actually didn't. I kind of like was in between of what I wanted to do, but I just chose doing hair. But unlike Dee, I started doing women's hair and I hated it. And I was like, I'm just going to put hair down. And then somebody was like, well, go try men's hair. It's completely different. And so I went to a chain to just try it out because, you know, like I wasn't sure if I even still wanted to do it or not. And I ended up enjoying it. And so
it seems like it would be a lot less stressful to cut men's hair.
Like a different vibe, different crowd, obviously, because like women, you know, it's just kind of like the trends. Mm-hmm. One thing after the same thing over and over and over again. And I was getting bored. I was like, I can't do this no more.
For somebody who's like, I'm thinking about going into cosmetology, like what are the major differences that you found over the past 10 years between women's hair and men's hair?
It's almost like you're going to make the same money. We just do a lot more volume. As a stylist, a hairstylist, we'll probably do 4 clients a day, and we're going to do 30 or whatever the number is, and we're going to make about the same. So that's important to remember because it's the same money. It's just what you like, and there's not very many women barbers out there.
Yeah, there's really not.
I mean, it's starting to become more popular because we have more barber schools in town. But 10 years ago, I was like terrified to go to any barbershop because I was like, I don't know how to work with men. I've never worked with men before. And we found a barbershop that had all women. And I've never worked with any men barbers. So it's not very common. It's becoming common now, but it wasn't 10 years ago for sure.
I think y'all are like the second and third female barbers I've ever met.
What essentially makes a barber a barber?
The only difference between our licenses is a straight blade. We cannot use a straight blade because we are licensed cosmetologists. Mm. And the reason we're called a barbershop is because we have a dual license. So it gives us, so we could hire a licensed barber tomorrow, and with the state, it's fine.
Yeah, or if either one of us wanted to like carry 2 licenses, because you can do that. You can get like it's called a Class A crossover, so you can hold both a barber and a cosmetology license.
Do you have to go back and get more schooling for that, or just take a test?
Yeah. Right now, yeah.
Okay.
It's like 300 hours, I think, but And then I think you have to retake your whole practical, but
Dang.
yeah.
But in
But
September, both of the licenses are going to be combined.
Oh, nice.
So that changes everything for everybody.
To me, I'm hearing the biggest qualification or difference between hairstylist, cosmetologist, I guess, and barber is the aspect of doing beard trims and things like that.
Yes.
With the razor.
Okay.
When people ask, like, should I go to cosmetology or barber? Because I've heard that. With our license, we can do nails, skin, we can do waxing, we can do a million things with our license, makeup artist, whatever you want to be. So it's beneficial because you never know. I didn't know I wanted to do men's hair. So if I wouldn't have gone to cosmetology and not liked men's hair, I would have been able to do a million other things. So
Interesting. Okay.
there's an advantage to cosmetology over barber.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Have you found over the past 10 years an advantage to being a female barber?
As women, like, it's a whole different environment. If y'all came into our shop, like if y'all just came as if y'all go to an all-men barbershop, it's a whole different thing because I don't even know how to describe it.
We were talking about this like a couple of days ago. Like the guys come in and I feel like they are more comfortable with us because we are females, I would assume, that they kind of just talk about whatever, but guys are like, yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah, like they don't really have, don't want to say they don't have conversations because I'm sure they do, but our conversations are like a little bit more, I guess, personal, you would say, right?
It's not just like sports talk. And
Yeah.
Exactly.
What girl they met.
Yeah.
It's more like, how's your family? What's this? And I'm not saying men don't do that themselves, but I feel like it's more of like, kind of like some of our clients I consider my family.
Yeah.
Because that's just kind of I don't know
that
how to,
relationship.
I
don't know
think
how to
it's a total
explain it.
different environment. But that's,
Yeah, I mean, conversations with women in general, from my perspective, are like much more, there's a lot more question asking in terms of like, and
Right?
remembering.
Yes.
Like,
So-
I don't, like, I've talked with my male friends, they could get engaged and I wouldn't, asking them about it had just never come up. Like,
You just
Yeah,
say,
and
"That's
I'm like,
awesome."
like bro talk, like,
yeah.
okay, so less bro talk, which could be a
So
definite
less
plus.
surface level and a little deeper.
A little deeper. Okay.
We do have some crazy conversations, but whatever they're willing to tell us.
Is there anything
Yeah.
you want to share? You don't have to
Too
say
much.
names.
What's
Oh my
going on?
gosh. Yeah, we know a lot about a lot of people, but
Okay.
no, it's all
We
in
always
fun.
say we are like, whatever said in the barbershop stays in the barbershop.
Yeah.
It's a vault.
That's fair.
Yes.
I mean, anytime I've moved to a new city, the two people that I'm always looking for the first are a barber and a bartender because they know everything about the city. You know what I mean? And they get all the dirt.
It's therapy.
Yeah, we hear everything. Like we know, people will, I hated this restaurant and this is what happened. So we're like, well, never going there.
Yeah, there's just a lot. It's so fun.
And we see so many people a day. Like we at least do 20 haircuts.
Yeah.
So we hear all different things.
So after 10 years, like what sparked the both of you to want to actually open up your shop?
Booth, there's not really a difference between, well, there is a difference, but booth renting, you're your own person. You don't have somebody telling you when and when you can't be there. You make your own hours. You come and go as you please, you know. So it really was just like, oh, well, we've been doing it ourselves anyway, might as well. And it was never something that we had planned. It just like kind of fell into our lap and we're like, let's just do it.
Yeah. And then you kind of get to set up everything to like how you want it, your style.
Yeah, I felt like we were kind of stuck at the shop we were at because we had all these ideas and like we were kind of stuck because it wasn't our place.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't our shop. So we're like, you know what? We just need to do it ourselves and we can do whatever we want to do. And like we just quickly made the switch in 9 days. We moved.
Dang.
We
From
signed
the-
a lease and
from the
moved
day-
in 9 days from where we were renting at.
Yeah, so from the
Wow.
day we signed the lease to the day we opened, it was 9 days.
That's
So
fast.
the place you, let's say, purchased or leased, it was already a shop beforehand. Obviously, there wasn't a build out.
No, it was just an empty room, and our husbands like painted and did all of the stuff we needed to do in 9 days, and we moved in.
Can I get your husband's numbers? For,
Do they like to build things?
man,
Right?
I'm not handy at all, so that sounds amazing. Okay, so if I walk into a barbershop and there's, I don't know, 8
Yeah.
chairs there. Every barber is paying
Yes.
for their spot in that shop per
Mhm.
chair
Mhm.
per
Every
week.
single person.
And that's how they all work.
That's how they all work.
And if they don't
there
come in, they
are
still have to pay.
commission
There is
ones.
some, chain.
Yeah.
Or
Well-
like the chains, you get paid hourly.
And then there's some commission ones. Probably not here, but I know in like Austin and Dallas, my friend, she does hair up there, and she pays like she gets a commission. So like let's say you do like you get like you keep 60, they get 40.
Okay.
So it's really it could hurt or benefit. You could benefit or it could hurt you because just depending on
We
how busy you are.
definitely had
Yeah.
to, like I started a chain. We had to get comfortable, get some clientele before you go in booth rent. Because if you go with no clientele, you're just probably going to struggle.
Yeah.
Throw money away.
Or make
Unless they
sure
have,
the
like, a
shop
big
that you
walk-in.
go to have
Yeah.
walk-ins. So that was the shop I went to. I didn't really have a clientele like built up, but they had a lot of walk-ins, so I was able to go in and make a lot of money right away. But you just have to find your place and make sure that they have clients for you if you don't have them already.
Was it always that you two wanted to open up a shop together, or had you thought about, I want to open up a shop earlier? And if so, what prevented you?
So we worked together at the last shop we were at, right? And so we were always there. It was just us two. And there was 4 chairs, but we worked alone a lot of the time, like 90% of the time.
Where were the other two?
Not there.
They
weren't there.
The discipline aspect.
They were
of
still
it.
paying though, right? To be
Oh.
there?
Well,
One
yeah.
was the owner, but
geez.
the other one,
So we were like, we're doing this ourselves. We're running it, keeping it open, doing the Facebook advertising or whatever.
Yeah.
And we're like, we're doing it for someone else. We need to do it for ourselves because we're already doing it. We were literally already doing it. So the biggest prevention for a while, because we had talked about it for a while, we were just scared, terrified. They're like, what if we can't pay what if nobody comes? What if nobody follows us? We can't pay our lease. And then it was terrifying.
But then the spot we're at now, it kind of just like fell. Like just, hey, I have this spot. And then I was like, And then I went and looked at it. And I went and told Dee about it. And then she was like, well, let's go look at it. And then we're like, are we going to do it? And she was like, yeah, let's do it. I was like, okay. So
It was just quick.
It wasn't like I guess we had been talking about it, but we weren't actually like literally looking into things
Like
until
actively planning.
that room was just shown to me, or the spot was just shown to me.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, well, I'll go talk to Dee real quick.
And where are
Yeah.
y'all located at right now?
Wall Street.
Okay.
Next
makes-
to the Cadillac dealership.
Okay.
Yeah, tell us more about this shop now. So Off the Wall, you opened up in January of 2023, 7 months ago, 8 months ago.
Yes.
Tell us more about what's the difference between your shop and just any other shop that people will go to.
I think the biggest thing is walk-ins. We're walk-ins only. So
Only, okay.
Only. So 8:30 to 5, which is also, we have shorter hours than a lot of shops. So that's a little harder for some people, but we are walk-ins only. So it's available to anybody. Just come in. You don't have to have an appointment. None of that. Also, our price is really low compared to a lot of the shops. We only charge $25 compared to, I think I've heard like up to $75, $80 some shops.
For a men's haircut?
Yes.
Just the cut?
Yes.
I've paid that before.
Yeah, I believe it.
Not here in Midland, but
So I feel like we have a lot of families with like 3 or 4 boys, or 3 or 4 boys and then the dad,
Yeah.
and they found a place where it's affordable and
They can all
we're-
go at one time instead
Yeah.
of having to get like appointment here, appointment there, appointment here.
Yeah. That makes sense. That's
yeah,
just like
we're,
cool.
And a big thing about our shop is we're family friendly. So we're going to play appropriate music and, make
Okay.
sure if your kids are in there, it's not going to be, everything's going to be okay. And
well, I saw on your TikTok, the one thing that stood out for me was I saw a refrigerator of beer.
yes, we have
Oh,
that too.
It's complimentary?
It's
Yeah.
complimentary.
I might need a haircut later. Who knows?
And then we also offer sensory cuts.
Yes.
What's that?
So my son has special needs, and sometimes haircuts are a struggle. So it's kind of like a area where, or like not an area, it's a barbershop where you can bring your child in with special needs or just hates haircuts, and if they're crying, we're not going to turn them away, because I've heard so many people be like, oh, well, I can't take him to get his haircut because they won't cut his hair because he's crying and stuff. Like, we don't care about crying. We don't care about anything, and it doesn't matter if the haircut takes 10 minutes, an hour, we're going to get through the whole haircut.
That's unique, I think, because I do see, like, in the, like, some Facebook groups, people are like, I have a child with, like, autism or something else, and it's hard to, like, find a place that'll do it. So you having that experience with your own child, like, kind of opens your eyes, and you're like, I got this.
Well, and if I didn't cut hair, I don't know how I would get my son's haircut, because Dee and I, we even struggle with cutting his hair. So I can imagine, like, not people, like other moms, not having somewhere they can go where their kid starts crying or, like, doesn't like haircuts or flinching or won't sit still. And the people are like, hey, I can't do it anymore. I have a mom friend in Dallas, and she's been turned away from so many barbershops.
Yeah.
Just because they're like, oh, well, I'm not going to deal with it.
That's sad. And it's like, I mean, I think I'm not a mom, but if I was and I was in that situation, like, just knowing that, like, you can relate to that would, like, mean the world to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's been so many kids that we've cut. Like, I have a little boy, and she's actually my friend now, and her son would not get a haircut. Like, it took us like 30, 45 minutes to cut his hair, and the whole time he was crying. Now I just tell him, hey, Kason, get in the chair, and he will go sit up there, and he's just fine the whole time. And then we had another little boy, and she just kept saying, like, oh my God, he's never had a haircut where he hasn't cried. And I think it's just, like, making the kids comfortable instead of being like, okay, get in my chair, come on, let's go.
Yeah.
Like, I'll sit down there with them and, like, talk to them if they're verbal and make them just feel better about it, because it is, I mean, it's kind of scary, you know, a stranger coming at your head with a pair of clippers.
Like, and they're
Special
loud.
needs or not.
There's so much
Terrifying.
that I've learned from Shy, like from special needs. I never knew all the sensory things, like the hair. They don't like hair on them, or the sound and the lighting. Like, there's so much to it that I've learned so much from her. Like, she sits in a massage chair sometimes and cuts their hair.
Oh.
Like, she'll put them in our little massage chair, and that's the only way that they'll cut their hair. So there's so many every child, like, has their own little, way to get it done.
It's definitely not sensory haircut is a one thing, like a one size fits all. It's,
right.
sometimes we're standing at the door counting cars. Sometimes we're watching Pink Font. Well, what's that? Baby Shark on the TV. The other day we had it playing for like 40 minutes, and I was like, are we ever going to turn this off? Sometimes it's the kids not wearing a cape, or them, like, constantly having the air hose blown on them. Sometimes it's just, like the constant suckers. Like, if they have a sucker in their mouth, they're fine. And then once that sucker's gone, it's like a war zone. Yeah. So you just, like, keep suckers in your pocket, and you can tell when they start, like, losing it. You just give them another one.
Right? There you
Why
go.
do you have a sucker in your pocket?
I know.
I don't know.
Okay.
It's been in there for a long time, though.
Just in case.
I'm interested.
Sometimes you have a little temper tantrum.
That is true. I'm going to need that later, actually.
Right.
I'm interested in the aspect of, like, what was the decision to not take appointments and just do walk-ins?
That's what we were used to at the other shop. And since we've been there, I was there for 7 years. She was there for almost 5, I think. So all of our clientele was used to it, because that's how the other shop worked. And so
even the chain we were at, it was walk-ins. So we've never been in an appointment-based. I don't even know if I know how to do appointments at this time. But and appointments are just kind of like one of those things, like, we know when we go into work, like, people are like, well, how do you just sit there all day? It's like, well, we don't just sit there all day. Like, it's usually one after the other. But imagine if you had an appointment and you had it booked out and they just didn't come. There's an hour where you're just like, no time. You don't have it. I mean, unless you get a walk-in, of course. But I like that better, because you just kind of know. And then what if, like, we're both moms? What if our kid's sick? We have to reschedule our whole day, and that sounds like a headache.
Yeah.
And I feel like appointments kind of maxes the barbers out. Like, they know they're only going to do so many a day, and they're only going to make that much money. Like, we stayed till 6:30 yesterday. And so we'll just keep doing them until.
Like, when do you eat?
We take turns.
Yeah, we have to. Sometimes I'm like, hurry, go eat while we have the chance. and
Wow.
we'll just swap out.
Yeah.
And then
But-
there are some days where we do get a nice little break, like, you know, a 30, 20-minute break. And then on Wednesdays, we make that Wednesdays our day where we take a lunch just so we can get out.
Yeah.
And
But we decided no lunch when we opened because we were like, we got to be there all the time. You know, we're just so scared to like
Yeah.
mess anything up. We're just like, we're just going to be here from morning to 5 and we're just not going to leave.
Just grind out the whole day.
Yes.
I have appointments. I book appointments for my haircuts, but I think for me is remembering to book the appointment, right? And I know like where I've gone to like the salon setting, right, where it's more like there's a reception area and things like that. They
Right.
kind of like almost don't let you leave without rebooking an appointment versus, you know, more today it's like you book on an app, right? And so I'll get my haircut, but 3-4 weeks later, I have to remember to go onto the app to book it again versus
Yeah.
somebody going like, hey, you want to rebook for 4 weeks right now type of thing, right? So I'm not thinking, people aren't thinking about
No.
a haircut until they're like, oh, I need a haircut. And then I need it now, right? Because that's when I'm thinking about it. So they can just go right to your shop and
Yeah, and we've had the same clientele for so long. I mean, they text us and they're like, "Are y'all busy? How busy is it? What's the wait?"
okay, so they can get a hold of you and kind of gauge it.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's so many clients that won't come in until they know like it's not as bad of a wait or whatever.
I've definitely been there. I think that's why I started to go to salons more versus like chains, because I like the aspect of going to the same person and not just going to a chain and going like, whoever can take me right now,
yeah.
that's fine. But at the same time, I was like, when I walked into a chain, you know, shop and saw like 8 guys sitting in there, I go, yeah, I'm not. It might as well be the DMV. I'm not sitting here.
Right? I know.
It could be 30 minutes. It could be 3 hours. It's like, no, that's good. For the other barbers out there who are thinking about like, I want to open up a shop. Like, what are some things that came about that you were like, oh, I didn't realize that this was, we're the owners now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think for me, realizing that the biggest thing is you have to be the one to put your business out there.
Yeah.
No one is going to do it for you. And you can hope that your friends share your stuff and your family tells people or whatever it is. But like to me, I'm like, I have to post like 10 times a day and annoy everyone and make sure that everybody doesn't forget we're here. And that's the biggest thing because, you know, we're in charge of that now. No one is gonna, it's not up to the shop owner anymore we are the shop owner now. So we have to like just keep pushing our business and advertising or whatever it is, social media.
So before you would be marketing yourselves individually versus now you're marketing yourselves, but you're marketing the shop itself,
yes.
right?
Yeah,
Because
the name.
the name itself. I mean, what about things like on the financial side? Like, obviously, there's more overhead, and you know what I mean. Like, you're paying all the bills now, right? Is like, was that a huge factor for you?
No, it's honestly, it doesn't feel that much different. It actually feels easier because we're in control of what
we buy. And, you know, we're 50-50 partners. So it's not like everything's on her, everything's on me. It's like, hey, we're going to do this. This is how much it costs. And then I give her my half or she gives me her half.
Yeah, it honestly feels easier now.
Because you don't have to wait for somebody else
Yeah,
to like order
we're
what you
in
need.
control.
Or,
Yeah.
And I think, I don't know, if you were going in by yourself, I feel like it would be a lot. But, you know, Dee, like, she picks up my slack and, you know, it rotates. Like, I know she has my back and she knows that I have her back. So it's kind of just, it's easier that way.
Yeah.
And honestly, to run a barbershop or a salon, it's a lot easier than opening other businesses because every person that works for you, like if we had a couple girls working for us, they supply all of their stuff and so it's kind of, it's honestly not as complicated as it would sound. It's as long as you're advertising and promoting your shop, as long as they come to work, they decide how much money they want to make or...
Is it just you two currently? Okay, so is the goal to add on more chairs, aka would you then be charging the booth rental fees and things like that, or a commission based?
I think we definitely need at least one more person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it gets crazy some days.
Yeah. And I feel like just for like the ease and not having to deal with like payroll and all that kind of stuff, it's probably easier to like do it as a booth rental.
We don't even have to deal with any of that.
Yeah.
Because they just like pay their weekly rent and that's it.
You just supply the chair, the station, the mirror, and you advertise for them obviously. And then of course you have like the overhead of like stocking the beer fridge and the advertising fees and whatever else you like buy for the shop as a whole. But they buy all their stuff, and again, they're their own boss. They don't have to call to us. They just come when they want.
They're independent contractors?
Yes.
At that point? Okay. So that's for tax purposes? That's how it works out?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So you said you had your clientele already. You've been building your clientele for 10 years. What's the method of bringing your clientele to your new shop?
We texted every single person in our phone.
Okay.
And send out emails. We posted on the trading post.
Yeah.
And then
yes.
our clients know us, like Cheyenne and Dee. So we would post like just pictures of us with the shop behind us, and people are like, "Oh, that's where y'all are at."
Still today, we're still getting like people that didn't know where we were,
They're
and
like,
then
"Yeah, I saw you on TikTok," and I was like, "That's where they went."
yeah, they just see us on social media. So, yeah,
Was there a certain percentage of people that just didn't follow you over there?
there's probably some.
For any certain reason?
There's probably some, but honestly, like we still get people today that were like, "Oh, we're surprised they came." Like,
Okay.
They'll come in and I'll be like, "Well, that was a surprise. That was a shock."
Because I imagine if somebody was like, "Nah, I'll just stay where I'm going," it was probably just like they were just fine going to the same place all the time versus like, well, I guess your clientele, let me rephrase this. Like, you're saying your clientele versus the shop's clientele, right? So like if I come to a shop and it's walk-ins only, there could be a chance that I'm going to get my hair cut by different people every single time, right? Because you can't necessarily request a person, right? You can wait, correct, right?
yeah,
So I'm just going to use the supercuts as an example. I don't know, good or bad, whatever. But like, I don't think this is, 20 years ago maybe, but I don't think at that time I was like, I don't care who's really cutting my hair. I need a haircut right now and I'll go to supercuts.
yeah.
Right? Now, if that person was like, hey, Ryan, you just so happen to get your haircut by me and I'm going to a different shop, I probably would have gone over, but I think there's a certain number of people are just like, I just go to supercuts. I'm not thinking past that.
There are clients, I'm sure, that stayed just because that's where they've always gone.
They're just loyal to the shop or just the experience of this is where I drive to there to get a haircut, and to go
Like
somewhere else, it's almost like more inconvenient for me.
Yeah. But, then again, like Dee said earlier, we were the only ones ever there. So, I mean, like.
That was a little bit
It
easier.
was essentially your shop without the overhead.
Without ours being ours.
And then we have a lot of like mutual clients. Like, they'll go to either one of us. And so Dee has her clients and I have my clients, but then we have like our clients.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who cuts their hair, they're going to go to either one of us.
Yeah.
I think that has to be a men versus women type of thing. Like, I don't think women would go like, every time I get a haircut, I just go to a different person. Could be trying out somebody else, but like, guys would be like, oh, just get my haircut.
Well, there's less, what do you call it? Like less of a risk. Your hair can grow back a lot faster.
Yeah, if you go to a new person and she just butchers your hair, you're gonna have to grow your hair out for years.
Yeah,
he's like, like my grandpa used to tell me the difference between a good haircut and a bad haircut is 2 weeks for men.
Yeah,
because in 2 weeks your hair's grown back out and you can just go get it recut.
For me, I've gone. It wasn't optimal the cut, but at the same time, I literally go. Well, I also wear a hat every day, and in 4 days it'll be fine. So I go,
right.
It's never been like I've never come home and going like they destroyed my hair. You know what I mean?
And I have, like, when I lived in LA, I went and got a haircut at this like cute place down the street, and like one side was here and one side was here, and I'm like, I don't want this side up here. So I'm just gonna wear my hair back for a while.
I've had a mullet before not by choice.
Oh,
they cut my front really short, and I just had to wear my hair up for like months.
And of course, I'm like, oh, it looks fine. Just put some extensions.
Either I need a bob or I just need to wear my hair up.
Yeah.
How do you grow a clientele, like, and a loyal clientele?
Right? It's happened over time.
Reliable.
It takes years.
you know, and a lot of our clients, what I've noticed with clients is they like when you remember things about them. So like if they tell me, and Dee always makes fun of me for this, but they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm going on a trip, and like 2 months later I was like, hey, how was your trip? Like, and I feel like they like that because they feel like it's a connection. You don't want to just go like the boring, like, say, how was your day? Oh, it was good. What are you doing today? What are you doing this weekend? They like to, and I feel like that's why we still have like a lot of our clients, because it's more of like
It's more
a
personal.
friendship. Yeah, like a friendship type level. So
Yeah, because if they came back and you're like, oh, you done anything fun lately? And they're like, yeah, I remember I went on vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes years, and that's what I try to tell like anyone going into school, just keep doing it. Don't stop. And
Be
it
patient.
takes 10 years now. Like,
I mean, you could be cutting hair for, you know, like, 6 months, and you'll probably see a few of the same people. I'm doing men's hair, that is. Like, women's hair, of course, they're going to, like you said, they're going to keep coming back to you. But men, I mean, they might, like, this is what a guy told me the other day. He's, like, dating the barber. Like, he's like, I've just been dating barbers. Like, he's just been going to whatever barber he can go to until he finds one he likes.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, that's a
I've
weird
done
analogy.
that. Yeah.
But
It's like a barber Tinder almost. Yeah.
yeah.
you just go to one until they cut your hair just right. And then you're like, yep, that's my barber.
And then you only get better as the years go on.
Yeah.
You know,
it's definitely, I wouldn't say learn as you go, but you gain, like, skill. You're not going to be the best starting out.
Yeah. Is there like a trend in men's haircuts that have like started to come back? Like, I mean, the mullet was back for a little while.
it's still back.
Oh, it's still
The
back.
perms.
Seriously?
I think in West Texas, it's
I don't think it
specific
ever
to
left.
here.
I'm just kidding.
I don't know. I don't see too many
Oh my gosh.
perms and mullets back in Vegas, but when I got here, I was like, there's haircuts. I was like, what is this? And I would see a trend, and I asked my barber, and they're like, oh, that's the Edgar.
Yeah.
Something
Oh
like that.
God.
You do a lot of those?
Yes, unfortunately.
They're Dee's favorite.
So a big request is the Pesto Pluma haircut. I don't know if y'all know who that is.
No, what is that?
You'd have to Google him, but he's a Mexican singer,
Okay.
and he's like young and trendy, and
Okay.
everybody, and there are 3-year-olds with that haircut right now. It's not our favorite, but we're like, it's so simple because you're only cutting like a little piece on the side.
And the first time somebody asked me, I had to Google him. I was like, what? Like, Peso Pluma? I was like, I have no idea what you're talking
And
about.
that's the biggest request.
How has social media changed since you started as barbers to today
I feel like TikTok has changed everything. It's
for your
just-
business?
Yes. We have so many every week from TikTok. They're
Interesting.
just like, I saw you on there, and they come in, and it's so easy. Like, it's so simple, and everybody's on it.
Is there a demographic breakdown of your clientele? You said like from 3-year-olds to.
I feel like oil field, is that a demographic?
It
Like,
is out here.
Really, I feel like
it's its own category.
we get all of like the oil field men that are from like Louisiana or wherever, Iowa. I don't
We
even
even
know.
have some from Canada. I'm
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah.
Why are y'all
Nice.
down here?
So
Were you always posting on Instagram like the picture of the before and after, or just a haircut? Like it seems like obviously with TikTok, it's video, right? And I've seen some of your videos, and it's not all the haircut. Sometimes you guys are just doing funny
yeah,
things because
Why not?
there's some downtime or something like that.
we're
Yeah.
bored. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, we'll just be sitting there and be like, want to make a TikTok?
Well, now it's like, because we've gotten so many clients from it, now we feel like we have to make our videos now.
Right.
Like, have to keep it up.
I feel like barbers are becoming like almost like celebrity status influencer types on their social networks, and I feel like then that has a effect on younger people coming out and going like, being a barber, that looks awesome, right?
Yeah.
Are you looking into additional types of content? Are you looking at? Do you follow these like other
Yes.
barbers in the world? Like, what do you feel like they're doing well, or some things that you can take away from that for your own business?
I love the videos where they're like start to finish and they film the whole haircut. I don't know if y'all have seen those, but they're like addicting. Like they're
just like fast paced, like
yes,
time
yeah.
shot. Like, do you do that? Are you thinking about that? Is that
No.
something you would have time to do?
I
don't think we'd
to.
have time.
Yeah, I don't know if we'd have time. I'd want to. We can try
Maybe-
it.
Yeah.
I feel like
Maybe
you'd
like
have
a
to, like-
slow day. We could.
Yeah, you'd have to like record it
Yeah, that's the
and
thing.
then just set it aside until you have
Yeah.
time to edit it.
They probably have appointments. So
Yeah.
Well, and
with
I've-
us, we're like just trying to get them in and out. But we can find time.
Have you thought about like other ways to generate revenue in your industry still? When, maybe you're like, all right, well, I don't want to do this as much anymore, or cut as many dudes' hairs all day. Have you thought about like merchandising or, anything like that outside of just cutting hair? I get it. You guys are like super busy right now, right? And it's just nonstop walk-ins. But like, I'm just curious on like from a marketing perspective or what's next perspective.
I always joke that I have a 5-year plan, but it's probably more like a 10-year plan. That,
Okay.
Like, I want to have like a few girls that I can hire, and then I just run the shop and
Yeah.
not have to cut hair
Okay.
anymore.
What about you, Cheyenne? Is that a similar type of?
No, I mean, I don't know. I think I'm still in the mindset of where I just see myself still cutting hair. But I mean, obviously I know that will probably go away sometime soon.
Yeah.
But I'm a very in the moment kind of person. Like I like what I'm doing now. So I think about, I mean, I probably shouldn't. That's pretty awful of me.
No, I'm the
But
same way.
I'm like in the moment. I'm like, I want to cut hair for, like 10 years. And then, probably in 8 years, I'll be like, I don't want to do that. I want to like cut back or something.
Yeah.
But I like what I like what I do, the flexibility, just like the job in itself. I don't see myself doing something else. Like it would be nice to just be sitting at home making money, but I never really thought about the marketing aspect of it.
Here's what you see on YouTube, right? If you're like wanting to become a barber, you're thinking about that. One, all you're going to be is inundated with how to make 6 figures, how to make $1,000 a day as a barber, because those are sensationalized videos and they get clicks and get views. I don't know, obviously, if that's remotely possible. It might be. But the other side I see is, like monetizing YouTube, monetizing social media to go like, that's what you're talking about. Like these videos, they get tens and millions of views, perhaps making money from that. And that was just off one haircut or a day's worth of work, you know what I mean? Where you can be making money, residual money from that type of stuff. I've seen podcasts that are barbers, right? Talking about the industry, selling capes, branded capes, right? Branded clippers, you know what I mean? Those are the types of things, because I'm just in marketing.
Yeah.
I start to go like, how could a barber start as a barber, start in a chain, eventually work to the booths, eventually work to their own shop? But at some point, you know what I mean? Like you want to expand revenue streams, I guess. And you have you obviously have the experience to do it at that point. So I was just wanting to pick your brains.
Well,
to see.
like, what's the place in Austin that's like has a huge YouTube channel, and they came out with their own like
That's Beard Brand.
beard brand, yeah, like their own product line and stuff like
that's really
that.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah. And they literally have a channel, same thing. YouTube channel was they just recording haircuts.
That's cool.
Right? I've seen lately. I've seen like you were saying earlier, like Vic Blends or something like that, where it was like they're just the barbers themselves. They're just interviewing the people that are cutting hair. I think maybe a appointment based would be a little bit easier to like actually produce, just because you know who's coming in, you know what they do. You can kind of like have this conversation. It was almost like it's a talk show, but you just happen to be cutting their hair, right? And you're the host and they're the guest. But I just wanted to plant that in your brains a
Now
little
I'm
bit,
thinking
because
about it. I'm like, we're about to make our own
Now
gel. I'm
tonight,
just
I'm
kidding.
gonna be texting Dee. I was like, you better be coming up with some ideas.
And we're
over
gonna
there.
make a podcast, and we got.
I mean,
all the-
that-
because
mean-
there's like there's Makeup by Tabitha here in town. Like she has her own makeup line.
I've heard of her,
and
yeah.
and her products are great. But like she just researched, companies that did well-made products with like clean ingredients, blah blah blah, blah, and then puts her label on it.
Oh, that's
Like y'all could kind of do the same thing. Like find a pomade, find a gel.
I think
like,
we're going to.
yeah.
I
And
think
then
the
you
thing-
just do like cute
Sold.
little videos, and people
Yeah.
are like, oh, I can get my hair cut and my hair product.
Yeah.
I think the
that's
thing that I
awesome.
would be, curious about is like, again, your clientele is men. And so if you're wanting to create a brand or create merch, products targeted to those men, they'd have to be very specialized, right? Like,
yeah.
I don't think there's not a lot of men who are like super loyal to a you know what I mean? Like a
Yes.
skin brand or a hair brand or something. I think as they age, they might, but you know what I mean? Earlier on
Right.
versus women, right? Women will go like, I want to try all these different brands and this is the one I buy
Stick
now,
to it.
right?
Mm-hmm.
However, I think, 180 degree thought would be not to be creating necessarily products for the men who, get your haircuts, but possibly to other barbers.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I say like
Interesting.
you
I
could
think
have
it
you could have a
starts with-
capes line,
yeah.
you could
Yeah.
have a scissors line, clippers line, things
an
like
idea.
that as you continue to grow, right?
The light
And-
bulb just went off in
The
Dee's
light
head.
bulb just went off. I'm not going to say it because then someone's going to copy it.
Yeah, don't- yeah.
Just joking.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm sort of in that same industry too, right? Where it's like, if I'm not recording podcasts, then, the money's not coming in. So you got to
Yeah.
kind of think like,
And-
how can I make money in my sleep?
Yeah. And also, it's funny because, like, we're not close to retirement age, right? But
No.
Sure.
but we don't have, as 1099, we're contractors. We don't have retirement funds. We don't have,
Oh, okay.
I don't even know what else. Like, we
Like
don't
a
have
401k.
none
and
of
a
that.
IRA.
So, yeah, we have to kind of think ahead and be prepared for that.
Yeah.
And it seems forever away, but I always remember that. Like, oh my gosh, my husband better have a good savings account when I
That's
retire.
right.
Get a Roth IRA. Compounding interest.
Yes.
This is everything I need you to do for me.
Yes.
because I can't.
Yeah.
Even health insurance. We have
Yeah.
to get independent health insurance if
Oh, wow.
know.
Okay.
That's what we have.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're fully entrepreneurs then at that
fully
point. Right?
on your own. Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't have to disclose how much money you make, but I'm just curious, like, as barber shop owners, can you make 6 figures a year? Is it realistic
We
If-
think we're going to hit 6 figures this year.
in your first year?
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's totally possible.
But again, you have to be disciplined. You have to have self control because you can't just you can't just go in one day a week and be like, oh, I'm gonna make
Excellent.
$900 today and I'll be good for the week. Like every day I don't know about Dee, but I set personal goals for myself. So like I'll be like, today I'm gonna make $600, and then if I pass it, cool. If I don't, then I'll be like, oh well, I'm gonna do better tomorrow.
Yeah.
And then I do and sometimes maybe not even a daily goal because sometimes we're just trying to get through the day. But like on the week, like come Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I'll total up and I'll be like, you know what, I'm gonna hit this much this week. And then if I hit it, I'm like, oh yeah. And then I just strive for bigger.
Motivation.
Yeah, because I feel like, especially like being your own boss, you need that because if not, you're just waking up and going to the same job. Like you always have to set little tiny goals. For me, it's like a little reward, like a little treat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can make 6 figures if you want to.
Right.
And advertise.
Yeah.
Even if you don't own a shop, even if you're working for yourself, just keep putting yourself out there and it'll come.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was doing the math in my head, right? You were saying $600. I was going, all right, $25 haircuts. I was going, it's a lot of haircuts.
Yeah.
At what point do you, as experienced barbers, like at what point do you go, all right, prices are increasing? Like, have you set a threshold? Like, how do you go through that mindset?
So a big thing is we don't want to lose the volume that we have. We have a lot of people that are shocked by our price, and we don't want to mess that up.
Yeah.
But I think we could push it a few dollars in the next year, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we're never gonna,
We're never gonna be $80 haircuts.
Never.
I can tell you that.
never.
Unless like the cost of living like raises skyrock, like just goes through the roof. But
Because we're
I
not.
think honestly, I think like people who pay $40, $60, $70 for a haircut is ridiculous because you look at our haircuts or anybody's haircut really, and then you look at a haircut that somebody paid $200 for.
Yeah.
Show me the difference.
Yeah.
So on a $25 haircut, just as a whole, as barbers, tipping is a major part of your business.
Yes.
For the guys out there in your haircuts, what should they be tipping? I know you want to be.
$100.
Yeah, I mean, I know.
Yes.
Like, what's like? Is there a difference in like, hey, here's a tip? Like, what's a low end tip, and what's like a okay, we come back next week kind of tip?
So 5 is usually the most the most average.
Okay.
I feel like, but we have clients that tip like the same as a haircut. So
Yeah.
we'll get double in one.
Those are your favorite clients.
We have a ton.
Very
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of goes back to like the price point of it. Like it also leaves people the ability to tip more.
Yeah, we joke because guys will come in and be like, well, they charge like $40 and then they'll leave us like 50 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just, if they feel like they don't have to pay that,
Yeah.
and it's an option.
I think it's kind of like they don't want to be told they have to pay $50, but they're still going to pay $50.
Right.
They like the idea of like, oh, my haircut was only 20. I think that them being able to tip more, like $25 on a $25 haircut, they feel better.
Yeah.
That would make me feel better, you know?
No, I totally can relate to that because there's a lot of times where I'm like, oh, this only cost 10, but like you did a really great job. Here's
Here you
like
go,
30 bucks.
right? Yeah, it is. It's a mind
It's
thing.
kind of like how women are with like sales. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it says if I buy 3, I can get 1 free. So I'm going to spend an extra $50 because it makes me feel good because I'm getting 1 for free.
I have to constantly talk myself out of those. I'm like,
That's
I don't
funny.
need 3 though.
I tell her all the time, I'm like, Shy, it's not a deal. Just don't even.
Like I was,
Girl math.
Girl math. That's what it is,
Yeah.
the other day I was like, oh, if I spend $50 at Target, I can get like $15 off. He's like, don't do it. I was like, well, too late. I'm
Like, well,
it
if
was
you're
just
shopping, go
asking
ahead
me
and
to buy it.
get me some shorts. I mean, if you're
Yeah.
shopping, but
Okay, so to wrap this up again for the young people out there who were in your shoes 10 years ago, you know what I mean? Like they're just coming up, they're thinking like, man, it looks great. I'm gonna get a ton of followers on social media. I'll make 6 figures. Like, what is the last piece of advice that you can give this younger generation, or even some mistakes that a lot of barbers make that you didn't think about?
I would say when you get out of school, shop around on shops, find the vibe that you want, the other people that work in there, the price, if they have walk-ins, find all that. Once you find your spot, I would say stay there. Do not move around, because I can think of a few people in my head that are like, I've seen them shop to shop to shop, and they're not built up, because once you leave, you lose a percentage of people.
Because nobody wants
Stay
to go
put.
across town.
Yeah. Unless they love
Stay
you.
put, know where they can find you. I have clients that before we moved, I hadn't seen them in like 2 years, and they moved to wherever, Dallas, and they come back and I'm still there.
Yeah.
You know, it's that kind of thing. Stay put. The clients will come and they'll learn your way of haircut. Like, they'll trust you.
Mhm.
Trust is a big thing. Once you can gain their trust, they're going to come back. So just stay
Okay.
put. That's like the biggest thing, because being at the shop for 7 years, I wouldn't have had the clientele that I would have moved around. Definitely. It takes a long
It's not
time.
going to happen overnight. It's like literally, I think like the first 2 to 3 years of doing hair, even women's hair, it's just gaining new people, and then you'll find your niche, like who belongs with. I say who belongs with you, like we own them, but you'll find like people. Like, it's gonna take a while, because unless like you just go into a shop that's all walk-ins and that's all it's known for. But if you're like an appointment based, you have to be patient.
And you have to hustle.
Yeah. You can't do this like, oh, I'm only going to work Tuesday and Wednesday and Friday or whatever it is. You have to be available 24/7 to them. And then once, I say this a lot to people, when I first started doing hair, I was 24/7 available. Now I put my foot down. Like, I don't have time to go up and cut your hair at 7 o'clock
Now
at
you
night.
have like a family, and
Now it's like, I hustled in the
We've
beginning
worked
and did
for
all
this.
these favors for everybody to gain them as clients, and now that they're loyal to you, you can start setting not boundaries, but you can be like, no, I'm only going to be here on this day.
Yeah.
Whereas when I was first starting, it was just like the pure hustle. It was like, okay, whatever you want.
Yeah.
We've earned our,
Earned your stripes.
yeah.
Dee and Cheyenne, thank you so much for being here today. Go and check out Off the Wall Barbershop in Midland, Texas. It's on, what's the address?
3201 West Wall Street.
Excellent. Remember, it's walk-ins only.
What are your hours?
8:30 to 5, Tuesday through Friday, and Saturday 9 to 12.
And we'll put all your social media links and everything to follow you guys down below in the description. And like I said, we appreciate you coming in. We hope you crush 6 figures this year. And we're excited to see what happens next year.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
excellent. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Bye.